So as I sat back and enjoyed a final meal, it was time to get on board, bound for Bangkok. Most people who travel from Siem Reap onto Bangkok travel through the Poipet border crossing. Getting through there and getting your visa into Thailand is as easy as can be. Also, the Cambodian visa, I should have mentioned, was really easy to obtain. They have an e-visa, meaning you just go to their website address for the Cambodian embassy, upload a photograph, pay your $20 and they'll send you an image of your actual visa. You just print it out and snap it into your passport. It couldn't get any easier than that. So as we made our way to the border, I had a chance on the bus to reflect about my experiences in Cambodia. The first thing I thought about was just how kind and generous the people were. I met so many nice people, from hotel and hostel owners through to restaurateurs, market holders and all kinds of people on the street. Cambodian people are some of the kindest people I've truly met in all of my Jason's journeys. I got to thinking about Phnom Penh, right there on the Mekong River, how the buzz of the city had been so electric, from its night markets, its day markets, right through to the nightclubs and the absolute active nightlife the city had. It had really stood out in my mind and was one of the great surprises of my trip. Okay, now for the operation in patience you have to have as a tourist. From Siem Reap to Bangkok is 465 kilometres across some average, shall we say, type of roads. If you include the border crossing itself, you're going to need to allow anywhere from 8 to 9 hours to get there. The border crossing involves taking a car ferry, so you'll be arriving there, waiting for your turn patiently again, and then getting on board the boat that'll take you across the other side where you continue your journey onwards. Well, as I waited and watching the other people eat, I decided that I should have something myself, so I bought a lotus flower fruit, which was very unusual. You pick it open like plucking peas from a pod. It was very enjoyable and passed the time waiting to get on board. When you get to the border crossing, you'll likely be confronted by a couple of annoyances. You'll find there are touts and drivers everywhere trying to offer you assistance with taxis, buses, and to help you get your Cambodian or Thai visa from the border. They'll tell you they work for a local consulate, which of course is a load of rubbish. Just plough on through, do it yourself, and it's easy peasy Calabrese. As we got on board the boat heading across, for some strange reason my mind began to wander. I also got to thinking about all the crazy things you can do in Cambodia that makes the country unique. From the more questionable things like firing a rocket launcher at a cow and firing AK-47s and throwing hand grenades into, rivers and lakes, through to riding an elephant in the main street of Phnom Penh. Contrast that with getting a fish massage where little tiny fish will suck all the dead skin and nibble away at your feet till your heart's content. Made me realise that Cambodia really was a range of experiences you don't get in any other country on earth. Of course, one of the most amazing things to reflect on was the series of temples from Angkor Wat through to Angkor Thom and all the surrounding areas. The jungle and areas there were just absolutely incredible, and visiting it was one of the most unique experiences of my life. Really deep and spiritual, and something I recommend everyone do if you get the opportunity. So at this point it was time to change buses because we'd arrived officially in Thailand. From there it was still another 4 hours journey from the border all the way to Bangkok. But you don't want to wait 4 hours, so let's speed it up and get there, shall we? Okay, so as we approached the city of Bangkok, reality finally snapped in. I went from the tranquility of Cambodia to remembering all the things I'd heard about Bangkok, the noise, the traffic and the absolute chaos. It was time to brace myself. So here we are on a
tuk-tuk in Bangkok, and we're trying to head across town. Now the problem with cities like Bangkok and Manila is that it can take you like an hour just to go 5 kilometres across town. The traffic is horrendous, but we're on the move, so let's see how we go. Tuk-tuk time in Bangkok, let's go. So when you're in Bangkok or Manila, I suggest that you get a taxi rather than the tuk-tuk. 3 reasons. Number 1, the tuk-tuk is exposed, so you're going to suck in more carbon than Julia Gillard wants to tax you on back in Australia. So don't take the tuk-tuk. The taxi's air conditioned, it's indoors, it cuts out the pollution. Okay, it's twice the price, but at least you're not exposed to sucking in the fumes like I am. So take a taxi if you can afford it. If not, take the tuk-tuk. Here's the difference. And who doesn't want to ride in a pink taxi, yeah?
So having finally arrived, I had to work out my way to get myself to the hotel. It's time for that favourite game show that all tourists know called Mastering the Metro, where you've got to arrive in a new city, check a metro map and make your way to a place you've never been before in a foreign country. Good luck everyone. So having mastered the metro to my hotel, I thought it was all over and I'd finally made it. How wrong I was.
The traffic in Bangkok is an absolute nightmare. That's why, to help out us, poor pedestrians, what we do is we create a whole series of overpasses and walkways so we don't have to deal with the traffic, and a really efficient metro and train system. So it's more efficient to be on your feet or on a train than in a car, as you can see from the traffic behind me.
Okay, so we finally arrived at our hotel in Bangkok. Sorry to tell you, but that's all we have time for on this week's episode. I know it's tragic, isn't it? Make sure you tune in next week, because that's when we really hit Bangkok and see some of the following. We check out the waterways and canals of Bangkok, which is one of the easier ways to get around, believe it or not. We also go and visit the Royal Palace and see some of the great temples that the city has to offer. Then we do some shopping and hit, of course, Chinatown, because they've got one of the great food sections of the whole country to be found in that location. Make sure you tune in with us next week, everyone. This is Jason Ross for Jason's Journeys. Bye for now. And remember, as Robert Louis Stevenson said, I travel not to go anywhere, but to go. I travel for travel's sake. See you, everyone. Bye for now.